I don't think it's overstating it to say the electric guitar has had a profound effect on popular music, at least in the West, since it was first introduced in the early 20th century. I mean, it's pretty much revolutionized the way popular music is composed, performed, and even the look of most popular music groups. Guitar heroes and all that kind of stuff. I do play guitar, or at least I did. I don't really play anymore. I have arthritis in my left hand, so I can't really do it for too long. I would honestly not consider myself a guitarist, even on my best day, and that's not false modesty. I was never very good. But I am very familiar with both the acoustic and electric guitars, and I even still play the ukulele a little as it's easier for me to handle. The guitar itself was developed over the years from many different kinds of stringed instruments. With the advent of telephone technology like magnets and wire coils, it was discovered that we could amplify the vibration of metal guitar strings and increase the guitar's volume. So in 1931, Georges Beauchamp and Adolphe Rickenbacker developed the first commercially successful electric guitar, known as the frying pan, due to its shape, as you can see. This Hawaiian-style guitar used electromagnetic pickups to convert string vibrations into electrical signals that were then amplified, and bingo, an electric guitar. Now, early electric guitars were mostly based on the traditional hollow-bodied guitars that you would see a folk group or that a classical guitarist would play, or that you would think of as a normal guitar. The problem would be that sometimes using the pickups, the resonator, which is the body of the guitar, would introduce feedback, and so you'd have to be careful where you were playing the guitar with the amplified sound. The amplified sounder was very useful, say, maybe in a big band setting, a jazz band, or something like that. When you had an electric guitar, it would help at least hold its own with the other instruments in the band, because guitars, regular acoustic guitars, not fantastically loud. I mean, it's pretty loud in a room in your home, but in a big setting like an auditorium or something like a nightclub, it's not particularly loud. So, to combat the effects of the hollow body giving the unwanted feedback and stuff, Les Paul, yes, that Les Paul, created a solid body guitar in 1941 known as the Log, another great name, which significantly reduced the feedback. This sort of design was worked on by Leo Fender, another magical guitar name, who introduced the first mass-produced solid-body electric guitar, the Fender Broadcaster, later named the Telecaster, and this is way back in 1948. So from then, electric guitars developed, but basically using the same process: a solid body, metal strings, and pickups which would amplify the string sound. Now, it's hard to hear an unmolested electric guitar sound these days. If you play an electric guitar without it being plugged in, it doesn't sound like much at all. It just kind of goes ching. It's not very musical because there's nothing to make the sound resonate like in an acoustic guitar. When plugged into an amplifier, there are so many things that go into producing a guitar's particular sound or tone that it's hard to know which one is really the thing that is predominant. There's always discussion as to what contributes most to the sound or the tone of an instrument. With an acoustic guitar, you can pretty readily point to the shape and the size of the resonator, the body of the guitar, and the materials used to actually construct the body and the neck, a type of wood or composite material, etc. But for an electric guitar, this was all brought about by a YouTube video I watched, which is called Tested. Where does the tone come from in an electric guitar? This is by a guy called Jim Lill. It's really fascinating. I was interested when I saw it. I thought, that's kind of neat, looking at that, and I watched it, and it is really great. If you're interested in guitars at all, you should watch it too. It's fun. But he goes through it in a very methodical kind of way and picks up on what actually contributes most to the tone of a given electric guitar. I started to watch it, and then I thought, wait a minute, let me put down my thoughts first and see if I'm way off base. So this is my actual little back of the envelope list. It's an actual envelope that I wrote on the back of as to what I thought were the predominant or the main things that would affect the sound of an electric guitar. Mine were the player, how you play, like, for example, Brian May of Queen uses a sixpence to pluck the strings instead of a regular pick. A pick is usually made of plastic. A sixpence is a coin, a British coin that has a serrated edge. So he can get some really interesting effects just using that. So I put player first. strings, meaning the type of strings, the thickness, that kind of thing. Pickup or pickups, again, referring to Brian May. He has a particularly interesting setup in his guitar, which is a homemade guitar, and he wires his pickups in series, where I think they're usually wired in parallel, if I remember correctly, and it allows him to switch pickups in and out of phase to get some of the marvelous tones he can wring out of that guitar, from the screeching to the mellow cello-type sound and everything in between. The other thing I thought would probably affect it would be the body and or the neck, the materials, the type of wood that was finished, that kind of stuff. The guy in the video does a great job to pare away pretty much everything about the guitar, including the guitarist, so that knocks my number one pick off the map. He's going even deeper, looking beyond technique and such, just focusing on what actually produces the unique sound or tone of a particular electric guitar. And it's actually just the pickups and the way the guitar is set up, meaning the strings, primarily the distance of the strings from the pickup. And that's it. I know a lot of guitarists, myself included, will be appalled at that suggestion. But it's the type of the wood, the neck setup. No, I would ask you to watch the video. It's only 10 or 11 minutes, and you might reconsider. With most music in the last 50 years, you very seldom hear just a straight electric guitar sound. It's usually distorted and processed 6 ways to Sunday. You can get amazing noises out of them, but if we're just talking about the basic sound of a guitar, people will swear by a sound of a certain brand or type of guitar that they particularly like. They really find a tone that is pleasing to them, and then they go with it. They can build on it and, use effects to make the type of exact sound that they want. It's incredibly subjective, of course, and I'm not trying to argue that anyone is wrong in liking a certain model of Telecaster or whatever it is. Even so, this video was really interesting to me in that the main thing that changed everything was the pickup and the distance of the pickup from the strings. Crazy. So, that's it for another eclectic video, and hope to see you next time. Hey, thanks everybody. Take care.